let's talk about them. Number one, a teachable spirit. Until your members are prepared to learn, you will not change. Whew. Yeah. Okay, take it in. Until your members are prepared to what? You will not change. So that means I need to take my talk to the next level so that my young people can also move to the next level. Woo! That's serious. Why? Well, let's ask a serious question for a moment. In the teachings you have done, the talks you have done, what has changed about the young people since you've been doing them? You've forgotten your own talk that you did last Friday, haven't you? Do you even know it? If you spoke last Friday, do you remember what you talked about? Or what about the young people themselves? Do they even remember what you talked about? Friends, this is serious. This is so important that we start to realize we need to teach for life change. As a preacher, which I'm not really good at, prefer more teaching. But you go to churches, they make you stand at the door to greet people. Ooh, that's very hard for me, because people come and tell you all sorts of things. Sometimes you even ask yourself, did I even say that? Because they come and greet you and say, oh man, that was a powerful word and blah, blah, blah. And, they kind of make you feel good and stuff like that, One day I thought, let me do something different. And caught people rather awkward because they greeted me and says, what did you learn today? You could just see in their face. Shock. Like, you expect me to be able to say something to you right now? Like, yeah, what did you learn today? Then I says, Lord, help me never to do this again. To spend 45 minutes wasting my time in this. Most people couldn't tell me a thing they'd learned. Then another Sunday, I tried something else. I says, okay, let me ask the people what passage I preached from. So they come out and says, do you remember what the passage was? Like, what? Yeah, the passage I preached from. Do you remember it? Honey, do you... I'm like, oh, are you asking me? Yeah, they didn't remember. So let me ask you, are you serious about what you teach? Or is it a program? I just have to say a few things, and then we go home. Until your young people are prepared to learn, you will not change. You'll have fun. You'll have all sorts of things, but they will not change. Neither will your ministry. Are you with me? Very important. So let's really qualify what a teachable spirit is. How a teachable spirit is groomed through voluntary commitment. Notice it says they devoted themselves. So you must be getting something right for them to devote themselves, right? Why? If there is nothing to offer, I can tell you now, there's nothing to devote themselves to. Now, here's what most people do who are youth leaders. You are not listening to me. You get angry with the young people. Well, the reason you're getting angry is they're already angry with you. For not speaking to them in a way that they're benefiting anything from you. Well, look at this. A teachable spirit thrives when spiritual authority is recognized It says there they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching. The apostles offered something, and the people devoted themselves to that. So what are you offering? What are you offering on a Friday night? Is it worth devoting their lives to? I don't know if you know, some young people hate you so much because their parents tell them you will go to youth group. So in the first place, they don't want to come. And they come anyway because they were forced to come. And then that's what you offer them. They hate you. Like big time. When you stand up speaking, they see two horns. Why? You torture them. Spiritual authority is when people recognize you have something to offer and they come. And they come. I don't know who is the most popular preacher these days, but I remember a few years ago people seemed to think Mr. T.D. Jakes was the popular guy to go to. Whenever he came, everyone went to him. Why? Probably they recognized there's something to offer, right? That's why they went. And some pastors would get angry that, why are you not in church? Well, there was a better product or substance being offered elsewhere. Now, can I say this to you? Young people vote with their feet. If what you're offering is not good, they move to where they can get it. Or even adults do the same. When they don't feel like you're helping them, they move on. So, ask yourself this very, very, very important question. Do I really, really give my young people substance? So how much time do you spend in preparation in order to speak with authority? Most of us remember Friday night. On Friday night. So we wing it. I kid you not, someone asked me today, do you have a sermon on marriage? I said, I have to look in my archive. He says, yeah, because I'm on my way to a conference. Today. A very well-known man of God, just for you to know. So, are you okay out there? How much time do you spend preparing so you can offer substance? And the problem is we call it a talk. Maybe that's part of the psychological problem. Friends, we are not doing talks. We are offering God's word to young people. It deserves so much attention. That's what you need to change. Even if you change this alone, your ministry will go far. Just this will take you to the next level in terms of your ministry. But the second question, is there a demonstrated desire to come back for more on the part of the audience at the end of each meeting? Do they come and shake your hand and says, my goodness, that was life-changing. I'll be back next week. All is like, thank you. They want to get as far away from you as quickly as possible. Think about it. Do they really come and thank you for what you do? Why don't you take a minute and reflect on that? Am I really doing well as far as this is concerned? Okay, take a minute. Write down your reflection on those two questions. Now, I want to move from here and really speak about something that we think we're doing, but we're not really doing as well as we could. And that's the issue of relationships. Someone told me that today ministry is about it's a relational ministry. Well, let me qualify what relationships are biblically. They are radical. Radical relationships. Why? Until we foster meaningful relationships, our ministries remain meaningless. Now, researchers tell us that there's a 70% factor why people come to your youth group or church. It's relational. Why? When you ask most people, why do you go to that church? They don't talk about a preacher usually. They say our family, all our friends go there. In fact, some people say, that's our family church. Notice, they don't say, oh no man, there's that preacher there. No. That's our family church. They have a relational reason to be there. Unfortunately, most of us, when we even go to our family churches, the relationships are sour. Relationships are just bad. So what is radical relationships all about? It's when everyone finds relationships to be meaningful. Meaningful. Okay, so let's qualify that if we can. What are meaningful relationships? So youth ministry grows deeper through teaching of the word and relationships. So yes, we emphasized the teaching of the word, and it must be done well. But if our people are not connected relationally, you don't have a community, you have networks or cliques. Isn't that what you have? And most of our youth groups, depending what school you go to, that's your network. And you forget everybody else. And then sadly, the leader sometimes joins a network and neglects the rest. We connect deeper through relationships. Connect deeper through relationships. Notice this, meaningful relationships are the distinction of true discipleship. Why? Well, look at John 13, 34 and 35. It's in your notes. Let's read that together. It says, okay, I don't know if you noticed that Jesus calls it a new commandment. In other words, this did not exist before. Hence the idea of this being radical. As different to anything and everything you have ever known before. It's a new thing. And what's amazing, it says, when you love one another like this, as I loved you. Whoa! Look at the standard. The standard is not when you say to someone, do you feel loved by me? No. It's as Christ loved them, then that's how you love each other. Whoa! How did Christ love us? He gave everything of himself. Now tell me that's not radical. That's extreme, right? I know some couples don't even love each other this way. I was listening to the radio the other day, and it was a very fascinating conversation that was happening. There was a host, and she was inviting people to phone, and the subject was, do you tell your spouse everything, or do you keep something secret? That was the topic. I thought, okay, I want to hear what South Africans have to say. And lady after lady after lady, mostly, I don't know why ladies were calling, because men were not calling. Most of the ladies were saying, I don't tell my husband what I earn. I'm like, what? My wife better try that. And some say, I don't tell my husband about the other relationships I had in my life. So when you bump into this guy, what do you say he was? But the way he looks at you, kind of tells us this is not a friend. So what are you going to say? Yeah. There's a word for you. It's called loser. And do you see? It's difficult to have relationships. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's difficult. So when Jesus says a new commandment, he's actually telling us, friends, this is not what you're used to. This is different. It's radical. And people must come to the youth group and experience that. First through you as a leader, and then through the others who are there. Whew, that's precious. That's precious. So it says this kind of relationships, notice what they were doing in those days in the book of Acts is they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing the proceeds to all as any had need. One of the most moving moments a few years ago at our youth group was a guy called Brendan in my youth group. It's another kid who started coming to our youth group. We don't know where he was, but he used to come, but you could tell he was not from a sort of well-to-do upbringing. And in those days, I don't know what the in thing is. In those days, if you didn't have a Nike, you were out. You remember those days? If you don't have a Nike, people would actually look at you and say, well, where are those tackies from? Because if you don't recognize it as a Nike, people would almost think, like, oh, wow, goodness, did you go to China Mall or something, the tackies from China Mall have a writing underneath, says good for 20 kilometers, so so if you buy Nikes, shame. Sounds like you go there often. Here's my point. Don't distract me here. This is important. One of the young people at our youth group, Brendan, goes to this dude and says, let's swap shoes. And this kid looks at him and he's looking at what he has and what Brendan is wearing, the latest Nikes. I don't know how many thousands of rands they were worth. And he says, no, let's swap. And the guy says, for this game, he says, no, I want yours. And he swapped shoes with him. From that day, that kid came to youth group in his Nikes without fail. Why? Someone traded something they treasured with him in the expression of their ultimate love for them. Now, what do we do with young people? When someone dresses funny, it's like, oh, look at that weirdo, No, it's an opportunity to meet a need. Now, don't look at my boots like that. What's wrong? We can swap. But that's the point. Are you getting it? So, if someone has an Xbox and someone else doesn't, and you've just upgraded, most of you throw away, trash the old one. Why not find someone who really, really needs it? And you bless them with it. Your cell phone. Some of you have smartphones. That's a problem. The phone is smart. The owner isn't. How many times have you upgraded? What do you do with the others that you used to have? For somebody, that is an amazing phone. Yeah. So generosity is something that's going to be important. Here's a principle. People don't care how much you know until. Very, very important for youth ministry. So let's reflect very quickly. Here's a question you need to ask yourself today. What is your approach to getting rid of cliques that are usually pronounced amongst the young people in your church? What are you going to do? Well, I suggest to you that if you teach true and meaningful relationships, you get rid of them. So when someone comes and walks into your youth group, it's not time to stare at them and see exactly where they sit. It's an opportunity to love them. It's an opportunity to welcome them. It's an opportunity to embrace them. Here's the second question. How do you ensure that the people are immediately embraced by everyone? You know what you do? When you arrive at a youth group, when you know someone, when you don't know someone, you ask them, "Ma'am, what's your name? Ma'am, look at me. What's your name? What's your name?" Bonolo. Bonolo. Now, Bonolo, would you come with me here? Now, Bonolo is now my friend, right? Why? I now know her. What's your name? Christopher. Come with me, Christopher. Christopher, I want you to meet my friend Bonolo. Hello. Okay, thank you very much. You may take your seats. That's what we do. When you know someone, then you both need to know someone else. And they now know us. But in many times when I know her, ooh, look at that one. We need to end that.